possible. And at the end of the call, I do leave the forum open so people discuss things with each other as well.
Okay. Can you give us, Rajiv,
where are they getting the 700 number? And somebody made a good point. They said, one of the students said, they're probably getting these numbers from the service applications, the service change applications, new I-20 applications. In other words, it's easy to pull off the data off a database like service. And I said, well, that number is very erroneous because it does not reflect the number of people who are still willing and waiting to file. To say that 700 people are going to be processed successfully is a little overly optimistic. I do not know which way the government is going to go. Shah Sahib, my problem with this government has been, in this issue, there has been so much uncertainty. People did not have to go through this much pain. If the government was going to act benevolently, they should have told us that in the beginning.
Exactly.
They should have given it to us as a right, not as a morsel we had to beg for.
Yeah, and then also as lawyers, you know what, this is where the thing that is most frustrating. Since I became a lawyer, it's been 7 years now, I never had a situation where I couldn't tell my client, you know, in this case, if I research this, I can give you an answer. In this case, we can't give answers. How do we deal with that? You know?
This is what I've done, Shah Sahib. When I get onto the conference calls, we made a deliberate effort, first of all, not to take too many cases, simply because we did not want to do these cases anything but pro bono.
Yes.
For every case we took, we charged nothing for it. But I wanted to be there for the community as a whole. That's why I just took the firm out of it and I just took my time and put it into this effort.
Exactly.
This is how I start my conference call. Folks, this is my advice today. I tell you this, it can change tomorrow.
Exactly. That's a good one.
I can give you the picture as it exists today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, this movie may be entirely different.
Yes, and that's the most frustrating thing, and I get so much involved into that TV sometimes that it's taking a toll on me, and I had to back out for a couple of days because it was not allowing me even to sleep, because I never had a situation as a lawyer practicing so far in California where I couldn't really give clear answers to my clients. If I don't know the answer, I always find a lawyer who can give the answer. But so far I've contacted the best, among them are you, John, and some other good lawyers that are good friends of mine. Nobody could give me a clear answer, and that's the unfortunate part of the situation. And your analysis is so amazing that people have to understand also, Rajiv, that this is not just an attack on TVU, it's an attack of an entire community. We should stand as one, but unfortunately there are differences that are causing the issues between people in our own community, and that's kind of get me really feel bad about it.
Talk to me about that. I don't understand that. What do you mean?
Well, this is the thing. What I feel is that I looked into the past since 2009, 2010 when they came up with those memos for H-1Bs. Then they came up with all this. It seems like it's kind of a targeted thing on certain groups, and it's kind of okay. There's a double standard. We have to admit it. Look at CMG when they closed them down, not long time ago, like 3-4 months ago, when they closed them down, they give them a chance to transfer. Why are we not getting the same chance for the TVU students? We're getting a lot of promises, but nothing is coming up from the government. And I understand they're doing their job. There's an investigation, but at least give them something temporary until the investigation is finished. Right now they have nothing, and it's dealt into so differently for each student. So
I think this was the comment I made to Diane Sawyer's show also, ABC News.
Yes.
They said, well, if you were to sum up the entire indignation or the fury that you feel, how would you describe it? I said, my problem is, if all American students were to be treated like this in India or China or Pakistan, we would probably be up in arms against it.
Oh, exactly.
Okay? And I'm not talking about 1555 students. Even if we had 15 students who were treated with lack of dignity, we would be very chagrined as a community, as a country.
Yes.
Why are other people's children entitled to less dignity than ours as Americans?
Yeah, and this is why we are in this country. We like this civil liberty, we like this right, and whenever we see this, we ourselves, it kind of undermines our ability to represent America abroad. I did a lot of convention outside the United States, one in my own country, Mauritius, I'm from, and everybody was asking the same question. It seems America doesn't like many people from some communities. I say no. I live in America. There are great people out here, and we love them, and they treat us. I'm telling you right now, you're treated better probably than any countries in the world. But then what happens is that when you see those kind of things, then the media turns it upside down. Then it becomes hard for us to go and represent America as a great country, which it is, right? And that's a part that is kind of very hurtful for me.
Well, many years ago, Shah Saab, I'm very disappointed with the Obama administration. At one point, I have considered writing a letter of apology to the community for having voted for President Obama.
That's a very good one. I think I should do that too.
And I swear to God, many years ago, about 8 years ago, National Public Radio spent a day with me, and one of the questions they asked me was that they were very, very polite about it. They said, listen, you don't have to say it, but we were curious. Being a successful, and of course I don't define successful as somebody who makes money, it's somebody who is happy with his life. They said, being a successful immigrant and now a U.S. citizen, would you vote for Democrats or Republicans? And I said, I'll be honest with you, my pocketbook loves the Republicans. But my dignity does not allow to vote that way.
I agree with you.
Okay? Unfortunately, I am not so sure anymore.
Yeah, this is what's kind of tricky. I think even in the bush we didn't have that much repression. That's kind of amazing, right? Because there was always that conflict in businesses where the businesses were kind of protecting a lot of those immigrants, and mostly from our countries like India, Pakistan, and South Asia, because many of them were legal immigrants, and all of them are H-1Bs, L visas, or visas, so they were protecting them. But then suddenly it seems like there are more enforcement in the Obama administration than there was before. I don't know if you noticed that, and I think that's a reality, right?
Well, unfortunately, we do a lot of defense, including assistance with criminal defense against charges, that companies that are being investigated by State Department, by ICE, by USCIS, and the Department of Labor. So I absolutely agree with you. The number of enforcement actions have gone up tremendously. I have to make one point. I must not forget that. I would like to thank all those ICE officers who were extremely helpful to the student community, who have actually given out their phone numbers and said, look, if you're going for a visa stamping and if there's a problem, have the consulate officer call me directly.
Oh, that's very nice. Yes, I got that too. That's
very good. I have seen a small percentage of ICE officers, and my hat's off to them. We really appreciate your humanitarian approach and your fair approach. Instead of coming in like Nazis, wearing jackboots and intimidating people left and right and making students sit in incarceration for 10 or 12 days and then saying, oh, this is just civil incarceration. Well, you know what? Incarceration is incarceration. It doesn't matter. End product is I'm still locked in a dungeon, whether you call it civil or criminal.
Exactly. Well, this is the whole thing with immigration law, Rajiv. And for people who don't know, immigration is still considered under the civil situation, while people are still put in the incarceration. And there's a dilemma there, and a lot of professors of law have debated it, and we're not going to debate that today. But unfortunately, the whole problem that we're facing is like, people also have to look at it. Okay, let me ask you another question, Rajiv. Yes. Many people have been telling me, oh, you know what, there's a radio tag. We look at it in two ways, right? Radio tags, what's the big deal about it? My answer was that you're dealing with a community that don't even know what it is to get a traffic ticket. You put a radio tag on them, they really feel humiliated, and you have to look at it from this perspective. Now, the other thing that is kind of upsetting me also, Rajiv, is I put a lot of my hours, personal time, my money, and to kind of brought the media to that. Basically, I kind of pushed that from the beginning to the media, because I knew there's only one way we can kind of get transparency in this. But then suddenly it seems like there are being reports of kind of small victories, and it ends up by killing the cause, basically. Like, they are focusing in so much into, okay, 2 radio tags was removed, which I am very, very happy for those people. But the truth is that 1,500 students are stuck. They're still stuck.
See, I think radio tags were overhyped in the total scheme of things. I absolutely detest the hurt and the indignity having to have suffered by those 10 or 15 boys and girls That really is very bothersome. But even much more so bothersome is the uncertainty in the fate of 1,500 plus students. I completely agree with you that we have to stop using sensationalism and actually focus on that which is the most unfair. And that which is the most unfair is the uncertainty which could have been taken away with a stroke of a pen by the White House.
I agree with you. We have been saying that from the beginning. I think me, you and John, we have kind of screaming out of our lungs. We see this all the time as immigration practitioners. Government intervention, especially in small things like that, I consider it very small because it has happened before and they could have fixed that basically. But what I'm thinking more is TVU has become an example, kind of a demonized in order to basically scare the rest of the country, which I understand if they're violating any kind of laws. But guess what? I think now the show of power is there. People are scared. They showed their muscles. Give them a chance. It will be more humanitarian at this point to give them a chance. What do you think of this approach? Why are we not getting a chance for these kids? And nothing is coming up so far that really gives them the chance.
I'm trying to be the devil's advocate and hold a brief for ICE and for the administration. The reason they would not give us a consistent policy in writing is because they feel they don't really know the depth of the conspiracy. The fact of the matter is the conspiracy is mostly in the mind of those few ICE people who feel that everybody's out to get the USA.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. You know what, Rajiv, one thing you have to look at those students themselves, the qualification they have. If they were working in India, you know how much money they will be making, probably as much as they're going to make here, and they're going to have a better life.
I agree.
So, we're not talking about kids that are coming from language school, for example, where they give us chance, by the way. They're coming here for PhDs, masters, and they got a school which was cheaper. Hey, you know what? I struggle in this country like everybody else. Whenever I was getting low tuition fees, I was taking them because it's a chance to save some money. Why am I going to go for something more expensive and a school that is giving me flexibility, plus a school where the DSO is clearly saying, oh, everything is perfect. And I have clients who have shown me basically emails or exchanges where they say, are you sure everything is fine? Yes, everything is fine. And you yourself has shown that the service answered after they closed TVU that everything is being done perfectly by TVU. So what are we facing here? I am kind of really...
Well, here's how it worked out. By the way, I must thank John for a couple of important key pieces of evidence that he sent my way when I prepared the letter. That was very kind of him, and it did help us improve the letter tremendously. John, thank you very much. About the motivation of students and really the bottom line, let me give you my 2 cents worth, Shah.
Yeah.
First of all, students were motivated basically by what you said, cheaper education. Number 2, being anywhere in the country and still getting a degree, because they could take online classes, which they were told by an agent of the government, the DSO, is perfectly fine to do. Number 3, some of them were told, we'll give you a CPT from day 1, it's perfectly legal.
Exactly.
Okay? See, all these are good reasons to join a university. There's nothing wrong with these reasons.
Exactly.
I asked only one question of every student I spoke with, more in terms of my own curiosity than in terms of, trying to establish any statistics. I said, and, I have litigated for many years in my life, so I do hope that I know a thing or two about cross-examination. So one of the things I asked was, sir or ma'am, I'll ask you one question and be very, very truthful, because we are not trying to pretend anything, we're not trying to make facts up. I'm just curious, my own personal curiosity. Had you known anything that you were doing was illegal, would you have done it?
Exactly.
So far, out of 800 plus students, the answer has been no.
Well, it's very, very clear, Rajiv. There's no way 1,500 students who doesn't, unless they were a criminal mind, big mob or something like that, there's no way, from the beginning I've said that, there's no way they will go into a criminal enterprise that big and think they're going to get away with it. There's no way. It doesn't happen. We know it as practitioners. And those who are claiming, oh, they should have known better. Come on, give it a break. Even as lawyers, we don't know 100% immigration law. So how can the students know that much? And I agree with you on this point. If they knew it was wrong, they would not have got into it, because one reason they go there is very often is to get education, to keep their status, and even if with a CPT they can get experience and work. So they could have just stayed illegal. They would have been better off probably. At this point, sorry to say that, but hey, it might have made more sense for them just not to get anything and just stay. And many of the students, you know, Rajiv, they were on H4. They didn't need a status in the United States. They were kind of encouraged to go into a student visa also. So I don't understand where this kind of...
I think, and I told people this, and I have my, all the reporters out there, you have my sympathy as well as my good wishes. Fact of the matter is, reporters are typically working on very tight deadlines. They will call us 2 hours before the paper is to go out,
yes,
or they will call us the day before when they have 300 pages of information to read. So they do the best they can with the reporting that they can. It's a fact of life that reporters don't have the luxury of too much time.
Exactly.
And these issues are so complex, it took us 30 pages to write them down in very, very brief overview. So how can we expect a reporter who is not a trained attorney and not even an attorney in immigration law, which is even more complicated, how can we expect them to understand and then summarize the problem in a way which is fair and accurate?
Well, this is where it gets very tricky in this situation. We have several forces running in this. Some people who are just saying, you know what, just comply and go home. But the whole question, Rajiv, will you advise any of the students to go home at this point? Do we have any guarantee they will be able to come home?
No, we do not. Here's what I'm telling people. I say, first of all, H1, H4, L1, L2. You will probably have no problem as far as status is concerned.
Yes.
J1, J2, F1, F2. You have to weigh, what do you dislike more? Getting an NTA in USA and having to wait several months for reinstatement, or going to India and taking a chance? Whatever you dislike more, don't do that.
It's a very, very good choice.
It's as simple as that, but my answers can change.
At this point, you cannot change it.
Ask me again what I'm thinking.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is really tricky, and I don't even know the answer, and plus also the media kind of cooled down. And I don't know if you have noticed, Rajiv, I've been following this from day one when they closed the school, because it's next door to me, right? My office is like 20 miles from TVU, and we started getting a lot of calls, and this is the same day I put a press release and I went on YouTube, and guess what? I put a YouTube for 3 minutes YouTube. It was just kind of an ad hoc YouTube. I did it from home, and we got almost 3,000 hits in 2 days, and I realized this is going to be big. So I went on the radio on Friday, I went on the radio on Monday, talk about it, and the same day I think the media learned it and they came to see me on the same day. And as long as we had the media kind of by our side, guess what? We were getting things kind of calmed down and more done in a more transparent way. I cannot tell you that really on radio, but you know what? I got students who went clear, and I will give you more details personally when I send you an email what has happened to them. Actually, it's not bad for them. So why don't we keep that transparency and then keep the media alive? And at one point, suddenly, they started getting different news from different people, and some people got involved that they were not even lawyers and were advising people, and they started telling them, oh, you're going on media, you're going to get busted, you're going to get into trouble. And more and more I see it is that as long as the media put pressure, something happens. As soon as the media stops, everything stops with it. Am I getting it right, or you think no, it's going to take its course?
Well, you know, USA and India, see, we are all, even though India is considered to be part of the mysterious Orient, our values and our attention span is as short as that of the American media. First of all, this issue was not very extensively reported in the American media at all.
For sure, yeah.
It was a very small page 7 or page 8 news, probably worthy of all of 1 inch by 1 inch column. Yeah. Over a period of time, it has completely died down, but the cause has not. The suffering has not, the uncertainty has not. We have just gotten used to being very resilient people. The Indian community has just gotten used to dealing with this issue and the uncertainty of it. Fact of the matter is, we are not much better off than we were before. And my hope is that the government does see that this is not a conspiracy of, wide proportions where they have to be overly concerned about tagging people, which was silly to begin with. That made no sense to me. They could have just held on to the passports of these folks,
I agree with you.
And even that, to me, is objectionable, but nevertheless, let's not even get there. The point here is, what do we do as things are dying down? Shah, I don't know about you. I turned 50 last year, and I'll tell you this, in 30 years of my exposure to law, I have never given up on anything.
Oh, me neither. I'm not.
Once I get my teeth into something, I never let go. And I will tell you this, whatever it takes, if it takes the next 10, 15 years, we will still work this thing out.
Thank you.
No matter what we have to do. And, we have we have people like John, Joe, all these guys, and, the other lawyers who are involved in this, Kalpana from California. One thing we have to be careful about, we must not start using the Tri-Valley issue as a neon sign. We must not use it as an advertisement for ourselves.
Yes, I agree with you.
I have always told media, put the students first.
Yes, exactly.
You have a legal issue which you don't understand, ask me. But don't ask me for expert comments. The only reason I had to talk to ABC News was because they were just starting out on the article.
Yes.
They had no concept of what was involved. So I sent them the letter that we had drafted, and I spoke with them, summing out the real problem, the crux of the matter as I saw it, which was dignity. Offense to a person's dignity is not acceptable in any civilized country.
Yeah, but the thing is that the American media also, what's happening is that I've dealt a lot with them, with TVU. Many of them are sympathizing with us, but at the same time there is also this kind of tug of war. Okay, right now immigration is a hot debate. They don't want to portray as if they are pro-immigrants, and immigrants that, according to them, quote unquote, are committing some fraud. So I think that's what they are struggling against. And I've got a lot of good reporters that say, Shah, just ask their students to call us. So I've kind of even posted their phone numbers for students, because I told them, just deal with the students. As long as the student don't give any kind of information that hurts their case, they are welcome to talk about their hardship and their dignity. But as you say, it's true. There's no reason for it. And I know also for you, it's not a matter of that. You're a well-known attorney, and so far, thanks God, I've been doing very well here in California too. I got into that course not because of the advertising. It's because, I'll tell you honestly, Rajiv, why I got in. Because I am from the Muslim community, and I saw things after September 11. I could feel something of a smaller proportion might come here. So that's how I got involved more, because I do a lot of civil rights work in the community. Rajiv, we have only 5 minutes to go, so I am going to ask you to sum up quickly, and I have to return the air. And I just wanted to thank you very much, and please give us your number again and your website, and we will be in touch, and hopefully we'll have you one more time on the show. Go ahead,
certainly.
Rajiv.
I'll be happy to. I don't have a whole lot to say. I've said everything, and you have actually very easily summed up everything that we needed to say. You can log off anytime you want. Our website is www.immigration.com. The phone numbers are there. I work out of the Arlington office. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rajiv. I appreciate. Just to let everybody know, Rajiv Khanna is one of the best immigration attorney I know out there, and just like John, I told you I will bring always the best on our shows, and he's a very, very good. I know him since I'm in law school pretty much. I didn't know him at that time personally, but I learned so much about immigration law from him. And thank you, Rajiv, again, and keep up the good work. Let's communicate. Hopefully we'll be able to find a solution for those kids.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Just one thing before you go, Rajiv. I heard also news that there might be other schools on the line. So I was going to tell all the students to make sure that there is some compliance, and I might work with you also if you can get a student guide to at least give them some they should avoid certain mistakes that even it's not their fault, but they don't want to get trapped.
Absolutely. Let's plan on having some kind of maybe even a hotline where students in this situation can get help immediately.
Yeah, let's work on that. Thank you very much, Rajiv, and I'll let you go. Thank you for the good work, and we are having this conference call every day, and I will be glad to post them on my blog, as you know, and for people to call you, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rajiv. Yes, so I'm going to we're going to finish the show. This was a Shah Peerally Law Show. I think I have 2 more minutes. I'll just give the phone number for the office is 510-742-5887. If you have any kind of immigration questions, H1Bs or L visas, O visas, give me a call. And just to let you know also, our law firm, we have one practice that is dedicated to debt settlement, because many of our immigrant clients have a lot of problems dealing with the banks right now. Just like what's happening in immigration, they're being taken advantage of by banks sometimes, and then they get into a lot of debts. They cannot file bankruptcy because they don't qualify for bankruptcy, or they're scared of bankruptcy. So what we have done is that we have put together a good team that does only debt settlement. They're separate from the immigration office, but we do that, and they are supervised by lawyers, and actually I supervise many of them. And if you have any problem with your debts, for example, people who owe like $100,000 in their credit cards, we can also help them to reduce that. And the best we have gotten so far is 17%. That means they have to end up by paying only $17,000 for $100,000, and the rest is written off. And we do that in a way not like debt settlement companies. Remember, we are not a debt settlement companies. We are lawyers dealing with other lawyers there to negotiate. Even if they have obtained a judgment against you, we can still help you. The reason you want to negotiate those debts is that you don't want it to go into a lawsuit, because most of the time you will lose and they will start garnishing your checks. That means they will take all your money or whatever you have. We're almost done. The website to check on this one is yourdebtsettlementattorney.com, one word, yourdebtsettlementattorney.com. My main website is peerallylaw.com, Peerally law.com. And the great announcement, we are having the office open in New York. The number in New York is 646-470-9769, 646-470-9769. Call us, we'll be glad to help you there in the East Coast. And again, H1B is opening. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back on Friday night.
Expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Shah Peerally Law Show and its affiliates. The answers provided are for informational use only. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the answers provided. You should contact an attorney to access your case before making a decision. Cases differ. Success one